When Jason and Joanne announced their engagement, I was at home, bored out of my mind, typing up my resignation letter. That word choice sounded too forced. I deleted it. My little fangirl and junior coworker Lily called to defend me, practically yelling through the phone. "Raina, Jason's getting engaged, and the bride isn't you." "Thanks for the reminder," I replied dryly. "They're even saying you're about to get kicked out." "You can't let that fake White Lotus beat you," I quickly corrected her. "She's not a White Lotus. She's his white moonlight, pure, beautiful, captivating." Everyone knew Joanne was the white rose in Jason's heart, someone he had never been able to let go of for years. As for me, I was already suspended. "But you were framed," Lily protested. I let out 2 long sighs and cut her off. "Jason doesn't believe me. What does it matter if everyone else does?" I continued typing my resignation letter. Lily seemed to suddenly think of something. "Raina, you're not seriously thinking of leaving, are you?" I nodded, forgetting she couldn't see it, then softly replied, "Yeah." She grew more anxious. "If you leave now, you'll never be able to explain anything. Everything you've done, all that time and effort gone just like that. It's not worth leaving out of spite." I stared quietly at my fingertips and gently shook my head. Lily didn't know I wasn't leaving out of spite. I really did want to go. Resignation submitted successfully. "My name is Raina. I grew up in an orphanage. From a very young age. I knew I was different from other kids, but I was never sad about it. In fact, I considered myself lucky. Other children had moms and dads. I had Auntie Mom. She's the one who gave me my name, Raina, meaning a good fate, a good match. While other kids were forced to learn to paint or play piano with no say in the matter. I was different. I got to choose. Among all my interests, I picked growing flowers. Just by being surrounded by plants and playing with mud, I taught myself. I guess you could say I turned my hobby into a skill and then that skill into a profession. Through trial and error, while always tinkering with plants, I somehow managed to get accepted into agricultural college. If everything had gone as expected, I would have become a cheerful little florist in the future. But life had other plans. Back then, Jason wasn't Mr. CEO. He was just a cool, aloof teenager. And it was my fault. I'd seen the weather forecast said there'd be a thunderstorm that night. So, I rushed to the lab to shut the windows. It wasn't until the downpour had already started that I realized I'd forgotten my umbrella. No one was around. I was just about to dash into the rain when I spotted Jason walking by with an umbrella. "Hey, can you share your umbrella with me?" I shouted. He gave me a side glance but didn't respond, acting like I didn't exist. "Come on, help me out here," I called again. "You'll be saving my life." Maybe my plea was a little too sincere. It must have triggered some empathy in him. He finally turned and walked toward me. The moment he saw my face clearly, he paused slightly, a flicker of surprise crossing his eyes. What did I suddenly become? Some goddess under the moonlight, so beautiful that flowers would shy away. Yeah, right, who cared? Staying dry was the priority. "Where's your dorm?" he asked. "I'll walk you there." Touched by his kindness and believing in returning favors, I pulled out a small potted flower I had nurtured myself from my tote bag. "Thanks. This is for you." "Don't want it?" he said curtly. "I'm allergic." "Well, then I guess we're not meant to be," I joked. Everyone has moments like this when you meet someone and suddenly you just keep bumping into them. Gradually, we got more familiar with each other. Eventually, we saw each other every day. I learned Jason studied in the elite honors building next door. I also learned his family-owned mines. And of course, I learned that the only reason he was even friendly to me was because of his white moonlight. Word had it that I looked a lot like her. The first time one of Jason's buddies saw me, his reaction was identical to Jason's. "You really look like Joanne." Was that something people should even say out loud? "Who's Joanne?" I asked. "Jason's childhood sweetheart," he answered. "Too bad she ditched him and went abroad to study piano. He's probably never gotten over her." The guy suddenly realized what he just said and looked awkward. "Don't take it the wrong way. I was just saying." I waved it off. "It's fine. We're just regular friends." But later, Jason and I started spending more and more time together. The time got longer, the distance shorter. Everyone around us thought we were a couple. Sometimes I thought so too. I never asked Jason if I was just a stand-in. After all these years growing flowers, I had long understood the saying, "Pick the flower while it's in bloom." Life is already bitter enough. My choice was to enjoy the moment. When we graduated, he invited me to be his assistant. "Oh, going home to inherit the family fortune," I teased. I tagged along, enjoying good food and drinks. Still growing flowers in my free time seemed like a pretty sweet deal. From then on, he became young Mr. Zhang and I became his Juliet. If you had to judge whether things were good or bad, honestly, Jason treated me pretty well. It was like that story of boiling a frog in warm water. The more I saw of him, the more familiar and pleasing he became. Ever since he started coming with me to visit my auntie mom and the kids at the orphanage, he really grew on me. Whenever we passed the milk tea shop downstairs from the office, Jason would always bring me the super sweet stuff he didn't even like. At my insistence, he'd even sit in dingy little diners, watching me scarf down greasy food with shiny lips, only to wordlessly pull out a few napkins in disgust. He didn't like that I wasn't ladylike. I didn't like that he didn't know how to enjoy life or have any fun. 2 straight weeks of overtime had me whining nonstop, cursing him as a heartless capitalist. That time, though, Jason actually played along. "Fine, I'll give you a raise." Still, sometimes I wanted to punch him. I'd pick a comedy when we watched movies. He'd insist on artsy ones. I'd suggest a romance. He'd shoot back, "You don't get it." His phone ringtone was a slow, classical piano piece. I told him it didn't suit a guy in his 20s, full of youthful energy. He just replied, "You don't understand." Worse still, for my birthday, Jason gave me a vinyl record of Ballade pour Madeleine. I stormed over and confronted him. "It's my birthday today. This is what you got me." He had the nerve to say, "If you don't get it, then listen to it more." The happier I was when I received the gift, the more shocked I was when I opened it. I was stunned that he'd actually pull off something so pretentious. No, I didn't get valid pour Adeline, not one bit, but I did know how to dunk his head in a bucket to help him wake up. He said, "I didn't get this." I didn't get that. Who didn't get what exactly? It sure as hell wasn't me. I got it. I understood. It was him. He still hadn't let her go. But that wasn't such a big deal. Who doesn't have a white moonlight they can't get over? Dr. Chen once said, "The things you can't have are always the ones that stir the most." But Auntie Mom told me, if you give your heart sincerely, you'll get sincerity in return. If you want something, you have to fight for it. Jason was already my boyfriend after all, so I figured I'd be good to him, then a little better and maybe a bit more. That way, he'd be too busy to think about Joanne. When Jason got put in charge of a subsidiary, he got super busy, too busy to eat. So I took it upon myself to manage that. I planned and prepped his meals every day, switching up the menu constantly. Tasty, maybe not, but nutritious? Absolutely. It became the most important thing I did after coming home every night. Sometimes Jason had to go out for business dinners, and I'd tag along every time. If I couldn't help him drink less, I could at least kick him under the table when he started going overboard. And if he got completely wasted, I'd always have honey water ready for him. After all those social events, my alcohol tolerance got way better. I was blocking drinks left and right. At first, Jason would protest, but maybe the atmosphere got too lively, the setting too festive. He stopped objecting eventually. If it weren't for that one time I drank so much I got stomach pains, I might have thought I was a booze prodigy. That's how we were. Man and woman perfectly paired. Unstoppable until one night we both had too much to drink. Our eyes lingered a little too long. Our hair got a little too close and then tangled together. Maybe it was the alcohol messing with our heads. But in that critical moment I asked him, "Jason, who am I to you?" I asked. Jason must have really been drunk out of his mind. He stared at me blankly for a moment. Then it was like he suddenly recognized me and shoved me away. "I'm sorry, Raina. Take tomorrow off. Get some rest." Well, just great. The guy I had in the bag ran off. So much for timing. And in the end, I still couldn't hold back and blurted out the one question I never should have asked. For the next few days, we didn't spend any time alone. I waited for him to come and apologize, to explain. But who knows what he was waiting for? That dense, emotionally oblivious man? I could give Jason the cold shoulder, but I still had a job to do. Work was work. That was my principle. After days of rushing deadlines, everyone was exhausted and foggy-headed. Jason, for once, declared no overtime. People with aging parents, young kids, or flaky friends to meet were all packing up in a flash to head home. Me. I had no one waiting for me, so why not squeeze a little more out of the capitalist boss's air conditioning and free snacks? Everyone else had gone when I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Why are you still here?" It was one of Jason's chatty buddies. "Why are you here?" I asked. "He's out. Said he had something to do." I kept munching on chips and watching my show. "Yeah, I know. Tonight's that thing we planned for Joanne. I'm just passing by to pick up the gift." The idiot had no filter. Dropped the bomb like it was nothing, so Joanne was back. That was Jason's something. And he didn't tell me. Joanne had come back, bringing with her all the pride and affection Jason had wrapped around her for years. She clearly knew about me but didn't think much of it. The first time she came looking for Jason and saw me, she flashed a sweet smile. I heard while I was abroad that Jason hired an assistant who looks a lot like me. One look and I knew it had to be you. You really do look like me. If someone didn't know better, they might think we were sisters. Too bad I'm an only child. How about you? Any siblings? Do they all look as much like you as you do me? Oh, and I heard you studied horticulture, right? If the plants in our garden ever get out of hand, I'll be sure to call you for help. I smiled. No problem. I grow flowers really well. Affordable rates, too. I'll even give you a discount next time. Oh, and Joanne, next time you drop by, I'll gift you a flower pot. White lilies, elegant and pure, just perfect for you. Don't forget to ask me for it. Her expression shifted slightly. You don't need to make veiled insults. What's wrong with being good at growing flowers? I said. Jason's allergic, sure, but he likes listening to me play the piano. He comes to every one of my concerts. Can you say the same? I shook my head. I can't. But playing piano and growing flowers, neither is nobler than the other. The only difference is you do it to please Jason, and I do it to please myself. What's the point of that logic? She scoffed. You like Jason? You think I don't know? But he likes me. You're just his assistant. Before I could even respond, she cut me off with a condescending laugh. I asked him more than once about you. He's never once said you were his girlfriend. Then she turned and strutted out, head held high. And honestly, she had the right. So I wasn't Jason's girlfriend, huh? No wonder he never took the lead. No wonder he never turned me down outright. No wonder I never got the explanation I waited for. He had never acknowledged my place in his life at all. How laughable. In the end, it was all just one big illusion. The good dream was over. All that was left were blurred eyes and a hollow heart. I didn't even feel like myself anymore. This wasn't right. It shouldn't be this way. I didn't know what Joanne had said to Jason, but that very afternoon, he actually came to find me. Don't say anything weird to Joanne. She overthinks things, right? Perfect match. Dogs who see eye to eye in their selfishness. I kept working, of course. But Jason never came to talk to me alone again. Joanne, however, showed up more and more, flaunting her presence like a neon sign. Once, right in front of me, she dumped out the coffee I'd made for Jason. Too cheap, she said. Fine. One less thing I have to do each day. Love it. Wonderful. Get lost. When Joanne heard that I used to cook for Jason all the time, she clung to him, insisting she wanted to try it too. Jason didn't even bother asking me himself. He just came over and asked if I could bring an extra serving tomorrow. I nearly rolled my eyes into another dimension, so now I was some kind of flirtation prop between them, their little emotional go-between. Sure, I said. $100 a meal, flat rate, minimum order of 2, no discounts. Seriously, what did I ever see in Jason? All brawn, no brains, and too much money. That night, I made sure to overload the food with cilantro and fish mint. Joanne might eat it. I didn't care. But I knew Jason wouldn't touch a bite. Joanne had already taken over a bunch of my assistant tasks, snatched Jason back, and now she even wanted to steal my flower pot. Calling it a small flower pot honestly didn't do it justice. It wasn't just a pot. He couldn't even hold a flower properly in the end. This time, Joanne pointed at the little ceramic pot next to my computer and said, "This pot is really lovely. Raina, you're not using it. Why don't you just give it to me?" Of course I refused. It wasn't just because I found this fake white lotus so damn irritating. This pot was something I had made with my own 2 hands together with Jason. He had roughly shaped the clay base. I carefully molded it into form. After we passed the studio test, I spent 2 weekends layering on the glaze and color. I didn't want to give it away, so naturally Joanne insisted on that exact one. She made a scene about it until Jason finally showed up. "I think Raina's little pot is really cute," Joanne said sweetly, "but she's being so protective of it, she won't even let me look at it. Jason, can you talk to her for me?" She tugged on Jason's sleeve, but her eyes were fixed on me with a smug, challenging gleam. Jason clearly looked uncomfortable and gently pulled his arm back, but of course, he didn't want to embarrass Joanne. "Raina, Joanne doesn't usually take interest in things like this." He paused. Even someone with Jason's thick skin probably couldn't bring himself to say, "Just give her the pot." "How about you send her the shot blink? Let her browse for one she likes." Joanne's expression shifted instantly. So did mine. Jason really had a gift. One sentence and he managed to offend everyone in the room. That damn clueless man couldn't even tell his white moonlight was being petty on purpose. Didn't remember or maybe never cared that this was something we had made together. "Raina made it herself and highly recommends it," Joanne said mockingly. "He didn't know a damn thing. Never cared what it meant to me. What was I even trying to fight for?" "Forget it," I said. "This pot's already dirty and cracked. Doesn't suit Miss Joanne." I tossed it straight into the trash. "There's no link. It's long gone. If you really want it, Mr. CEO, go dig one up yourself." Another pointless fight ending in another mess. I wasn't happy. None of this made me happy anymore. They always say flowers and plants are emotionless, but people aren't. Honestly, I think it's the opposite. Flowers and plants are much more lovable. After that, Joanne stopped coming around me for a while, which was a welcome relief. But peace didn't last long. After more than a month of non-stop overtime at the subsidiary, our lead bid suddenly failed at the final stage. The others might not have realized, but I knew something like this shouldn't have happened. All those toasts and backslaps and brotherhood moments only to be stabbed right at the finish line. "Raina, get in here!" Even if Jason had been in a foul mood lately, he never spoke to me like that. I had a really bad feeling. "Rhea, I'm asking you seriously right now. Did you leak our bottom line price?" I jerked my head up, ice flooding through my chest. Jason, the man who had walked side by side with me all this way, was actually accusing me of betraying the company. "Assistant Leon, I didn't expect you to be the kind of person who bites the hand that feeds them." Of course, there she was again. "I've never leaked anything to anyone outside the company," I said firmly. But I hadn't even finished before Joanne cut in with her usual fake sweet tone. "But I heard it was someone using an account with a little flower icon as their avatar. Doesn't that scream you?" I drew a deep breath, repeating to myself not to waste time arguing with an idiot. What mattered was solving the problem. "And where did you hear that, Miss Joanne? Don't you think you're sticking your nose a bit too far in?" Jason's face darkened immediately. "That's enough, Rhea. You have no right to talk about Joanne like that. If it weren't for the connections Mr. Jang has with her father, do you really think they'd even give our company the time of day?" Connections. How ironic. Jason was actually standing there using so-called connections to talk to me about qualifications. I didn't have the right. They threw a welcome party for Joanne while I stayed late at the office crunching data by myself, but I didn't have the right. I clenched my fists. So what now? I should be grateful. Grateful that I get to take the fall for someone else. I looked straight at him and asked just one thing. "Do you trust me?" Other people could doubt me, but not Jason, not him. I stared at him desperately, searching for even a flicker of doubt in his eyes, hoping, just hoping, to find even the tiniest trace of trust. But there was none. He silently slid his phone across the table to me. The screen showed an anonymous multimedia message. It had my profile picture, It had the data file. I was so furious I actually laughed. If something this pathetic is all it takes to convince you, I said coldly, then I really misjudged you. This is what beauty does to people. It makes fools out of them. Ever since Joanne came back, Jason had turned into a complete idiot. Raina, you should be grateful Jason didn't question you in front of everyone, Lily whispered in my ear. I didn't even want to look at the way that man and woman stood there backing each other up like some righteous power couple. I felt sick. Smack. I yanked open the door to Jason's office. Mr. Jang, I don't need your kind of courtesy whether I did it or not. And I know I've been suspended based on what Jason called evidence and protocol. Impartial by the book. Great. Jason treated everyone fairly except me. Since graduation, I had worked my fingers to the bone for him. Hadn't taken time for myself in ages. But honestly, the suspension hadn't been so bad, especially not having to see either of them pretending to be some star-crossed lovers. That part had been great. If only Lily would stop blowing up my phone every day with the latest company gossip. Raina, you wouldn't believe it. This past half-month, Joanne's been acting like the company's first lady, bossing everyone around. This isn't right. That's not good enough. Honestly, if she doesn't like what we do, why doesn't she just do it herself? But hey, today she actually did something good. She's got a concert coming up and Jason finally gave us time off. Of course, too much free time leads to too much thinking. And just like that, I found myself remembering the past, how I wanted Jason to spend my birthday with me and how he brushed me off, saying he was too busy with work. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of it. Raina, tonight is my concert. You probably don't want to come and I'd understand, but Jason told me he's planning to propose to me there. I still want to invite you to witness our happiness. Absolutely disgusting. Fine, I'll go. I told myself it was time to finally wake up, to shake myself loose from this delusion. Auntie Mom always taught me if you make a mistake, own up to it. There's no greater good than correcting a wrong, and I had definitely been wrong. So that day, I showed up at Joanne's concert on time. I sat quietly in a lonely corner and watched my first love drop to one knee and propose to someone else. That day, I spent a long time going over every part of my failed relationship. And in the end, I came to one final conclusion. I'm a good person, but Jason isn't worth it. Those two delusional lovebirds could go to hell for all I cared. Forget Raina the Juliet. I would never be anyone's assistant again. Raina the Juliet. Even the name itself sounded cursed. No matter how deep the love, it always ended with the lovers parting. One dead, one grieving. What a bad omen. And the saddest part, I'd never even had real love to begin with. But once I understood that, I felt light, relieved. While my emotions were steady and my mind finally clear, I sat down that very night and began writing my magnum opus, the ultimate resignation letter to end all resignation letters. It started rambling, turned poetic, and eventually devolved into a few well-deserved curses. But in the end, I was gracious. I wished Jason the best, wished the company great success, wished him and Joanne a long and happy marriage. The next morning, I went into work. Everyone except me got to witness their happiness. Jason accompanied Joanne from office to office, handing out wedding candies one by one. When they passed by the assistant department, Joanne clung sweetly to Jason's arm. All smiles and warmth. If only Raina were still here, she would have helped us coordinate everything so much more smoothly. Maybe then you wouldn't have had to suspend her, she said, looking at Jason with a thoughtful smile. Jason placed a piece of candy on my desk and gently patted Joanne's hand. All right, since you said so, let's put it behind us. I won't look into whether it was her anymore. Lily was standing off to the side, looking like she was about to burst. Her awkward silence finally caught Jason's attention. He hesitated, clearly trying to soften his words, but in the end, he still blurted it out. Rhea already resigned. You didn't know that, did you? The once lively and cheerful office fell silent in an instant. The sound of leather shoes scraping against the floor echoed harshly. Is that the kind of joke she thinks is funny? Jason asked, his expression dark. She's just throwing a tantrum. If this spreads, how is she supposed to survive in the industry? Lily asked her. Does she really not want to do this anymore? After a few seconds of stunned silence, Jason spat out, "Let her do whatever she wants," and slammed the door behind him. The junior assistants exchanged uneasy glances, the chill setting in like a cold wind after thunder. Maybe none of them had expected that one day the softest, most obedient person in Jason's life, Nee, would suddenly turn firm. The girls leaned in toward each other, whispering only when they were sure the enemy had retreated beyond earshot. Poor Rhina. She treated Mr. Zhang so well and still got discarded like trash after all this. Seriously, she worked herself sick on that bidding case, ended up with a bleeding stomach, and now she's the one getting blamed. So unfair. Wait, bleeding stomach? Who are you talking about? Jason had returned unexpectedly and caught that last part. Startled, one of the girls jumped up and quickly pulled a few bottles of medicine from my desk drawer. "It's Raina, Mr. Zhang. She's still been taking meds for it." Jason froze in place. He knew exactly where my stomach issues had come from. Those countless business dinners where I drank on his behalf over and over. I remembered one time he asked me if I felt sick after drinking so much. I handed him his lunchbox with a grin and teased him like always. "What? You think everyone's like you? One whiff of alcohol or flowers and you're down for the count. I can drink way more than you. You're the one who needs to watch out." Jason's face darkened even more. For once he looked unsure, helpless even. Just then, Joanne walked in, probably annoyed that Jason hadn't returned. He quickly adjusted his expression, sliding right back into his usual cold, blank-faced mode. See, even knowing I had given everything I had, worked myself to the bone, wrecked my health, still left without saying a word as soon as Joanne showed up. I couldn't even tell anymore who I should pity more, him or me. And how did I know all this? Not because I still cared about Jason. God, no. It was simply because Lily wouldn't stop sending me updates. It had already been several days since I resigned, and Jason hadn't given me any response. No message, no call, nothing. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. Word was Joanne still couldn't stand even a trace of me around. She had Lily clear out my desk completely. Word was Jason walked past that now empty desk every day and never once slowed down until one day he saw that irritating little flower pot again. Lily, ever skilled at reading the room, explained quickly, "Mr. Jan, that's the flower pot Raina left behind. She tossed it out, but I thought it looked nice, so I brought it back." It was that same dull gray pot, not cute at all. Now, with a crack in it from being thrown away, it looked even more broken. Joanne took one look and scoffed. Cracked things are bad luck, and moved to toss it again. But Jason suddenly stopped her and took the pot into his hands. And for once, Lily didn't play the loyal lackey. Her voice was calm. Mr. Zhang Raina made that herself. "She's gone now. Maybe just let the pot go too." Her words landed like a hammer. Jason's face went completely pale. He didn't say a word. Jason suddenly grabbed the little flower pot almost in disbelief. Did she really make this herself? It was like something finally clicked. His fingers slowly traced the surface, brushing over every curve inside and out. Eventually, he found what he was looking for. Etched on the inner handle were the initials that belonged to the two of us alone. He turned to Lily, eyes reened. "Did she leave anything else?" "Her sunflower guide," Lily replied. "She wrote it by hand, every word. It's full of notes she made for working with you. Want to take a look?" Jason took that notebook, the one I'd filled with line after line of careful notes, and silently returned to his office to read. Inside were details about his preferences, food allergies, scheduling habits, and even how to tailor proposals to win over his approval. Jason realized page after page that I had understood him better than he ever understood himself. But now, I had walked away from it all. 2 years passed before Lily reached out to me again. By then, I had already settled down in the beautiful city of Springview, where it's always like spring and flowers bloom year-round. It was where I finally felt I belonged. If I owed anyone an apology, it was Lily. When I left back then, I didn't say goodbye to anyone, not even him. But the truth was, I did miss her. In all these years, I'd always kept to myself. It was rare to have a friend who understood me the way she did. When we talked about my sudden disappearance, we both sighed, shaken by how far we'd come. Then, Lily brought up a name I had almost forgotten, Jason. She told me he had nearly lost his mind when I disappeared. He called me over and over, even when I never picked up. He went to my old apartment and found it completely empty. He even tracked down Auntie Mom at the orphanage only to realize I'd left without telling anyone. He tried everything. Hired a private investigator, filed a missing person report. He did all he could, but I never showed up. That was the first time I saw Mr. Jiang so broken, Lily said. He'd sit at your old desk and just stare at it. He buried himself in work only so he could spend the rest of his time searching for you. He wouldn't let Joanne touch a single thing you left behind. She paused. Rhea, honestly, I think you were the one who won. Did I win? No, not really, because I had put my whole heart into it too. But none of that mattered anymore. I didn't love him now. Life in Springview was peaceful and healing. I opened a small guest house here with a courtyard filled with flowers. Every traveler who came took photos in front of the massive flower wall I had built. I fell in love with this city's enchanting nights. It was like a gentle, mysterious woman who healed my heart and my stomach. In the past 2 years, I'd become good friends with the bartender at the local pub. Wherever there were new cocktails, you could find me. Raina, you won't believe this, my friend Ching called out. I just saw this girl on Weibo who looks so much like you. She even has a weak eye condition just like you. Isn't that wild? Excited? She pulled up the profile she had just followed that day. And sure enough, it was Joanne. How ironic. I had just been reminiscing with Lily about Jason. And now Joanne's wedding diary was trending. You know, Ching Yang said, eyes still on the screen. Her posts are actually pretty interesting. Look, she looks just like you, and she's about to get married. You should really start thinking about your own plans. So, they were finally getting married. That's good. That was always how this story was supposed to end. Having a similar face doesn't mean we lived the same life. Snapping out of my thoughts, I teased her. Hey, you were the one who said you didn't want me. You'd better take responsibility now. Get out of here. She laughed. Don't get any funny ideas. We're sisters, remember? But before she could finish, Chingan suddenly slapped the table so hard, everyone nearby turned to look. Oh my God, Raina. Raina, you're trending. Ah, yes. Life in the age of social media. You could become part of someone's story at any moment. Turns out my little courtyard had gone viral. It was just too beautiful. Not to brag, but that really was the main reason. On the trending page, right next to the flower wall, was a blurry side profile of me. Just half my face, barely visible. Still, I had to admit, when a famous photographer casually snaps a shot, it's got vibes. Before I could even savor my fleeting online fame, Lily's call came in like a missile. Raina, did you see it? Jason's already on his way. I'm not dealing with this. You handle it yourself. That girl, what could I say? If he's coming, then let him. This is my home now. I'm not going anywhere. I wasn't the one who made the mistakes back then. I shouldn't have to run. The next morning, Jason showed up. I had imagined our reunion so many times over the past 2 years. Angry, dramatic, maybe even cathartic. I didn't expect it to be so calm. He didn't even bring a suitcase. He just stood there at the gate of my little courtyard, dusty from travel, unshaven, looking completely worn out. Maybe that disheveled look is what people call authentic these days. His eyes were red, fixed on me for what felt like forever. Long time no see, Raina. He had called my name in so many ways over the years, coldly, fondly, helplessly, with confusion or anger. But this was the first time it came out through gritted teeth. Why did you leave without saying a word? He was in my territory now, technically a guest. I kept it civil. It's been a while. Come in and have some tea. But he stood his ground, refusing to move. Why didn't you contact me in these 2 years? Who gave you the right to leave? Oh, hell no. This guy still hadn't learned a damn thing. Come in or don't. Just don't touch my flowers. And if you drop dead halfway, I'm not calling an ambulance. I turned and walked inside. You want to know why I left? I called back. What was I supposed to do? Stay and keep taking the fall for you two? If I'd stayed, how could I have survived in this industry? You knew I loved gardening. I gave that up. And what did I get in return? Your ridicule, your doubt, your indifference. Did you ever care if I was happy? Not once. I lost myself completely. If I hadn't left, I would have burned out. I had to go. Jason reached out toward me, panic in his eyes. But I stepped away. I'm sorry, Raina, he said. I know you were wronged. It's not that I didn't believe you. I just didn't have the evidence at the time. I had to give everyone an explanation. I let out a bitter laugh. So I was the sacrifice, got it? He said nothing because there was no argument to be made. After a long silence, Jason reached into his bag and pulled out a small box. Inside were 2 identical little clay pots. I recognized one immediately. It was the pot we had made together. Raina, I've kept this pot with me for the past 2 years. We made it together. It was my mistake not recognizing it before. His voice grew quieter. It cracked before, so I went back to the same studio and made another one. Will you take it? He looked at me, eyes filled with regret and desperation. I took the pot from his hands. All right. Jason's face lit up instantly. He reached forward and grabbed my hand. Then come back with me, Raina. Please. I pulled my sleeve from his grip and shook my head firmly. Jason, it's over between us. I only took the pot because it was mine to begin with. It did nothing wrong, and right now I just happened to need it. He rushed to speak. No, Raina, it's not over. I know I hurt you, but I really do love you. I know you love me too. I cut him off. There's nothing to apologize for. Loving you back then was my choice. I don't regret it. But letting go and starting a new life, that's also my choice. And I don't regret that either. You should go. Joanne's still waiting for you. She's waited for years. Don't let her down. No, Raina. After you left, I had a long talk with Joanne. Jason said, we realized we had confused our feelings. The person I truly love has always been you. We're not getting married. The only reason we're still connected is because our families are too deeply tied in business. But now that I found you, please give me a chance. I promise I'll sort everything out as soon as I can. I want a home with you. I froze. If Jason had said even a single word like that 2 years ago, if he had hinted in the slightest that he saw me in his future, maybe things would have ended differently for us. But a missed chance is a missed chance. Yes, I still longed for family, for warmth. But I wouldn't chase a warmth I could never hold on to. Jason, stop lying to yourself. You just can't accept that I was the one who walked away. You still don't believe I really loved you. There was a hollow kind of pain in his eyes, like a flower that never bloomed. If anyone's to blame, it's me, he whispered bitterly. I brought this on myself. Then, with a sad smile, don't think you can get rid of me that easily. Whether you believe me or not, I'm going back to clean up the mess. I'll be back this weekend. Raina, save me a room. I'll pay. And with that, Jason turned and walked away, stubborn and silent like a man who didn't know how to lose. I didn't stop him. Jason's short visit didn't change anything about my life, and that realization brought me a surprising sense of relief. Not because I was afraid of drama, but because life now was just too good, too peaceful, too free. I didn't want to shake it up again. When Jason showed up again, Ching Young happened to be in my courtyard swirling a new cocktail in his hand and praising it to the skies. Jason's face darkened the second he laid eyes on him. And who the hell are you? He demanded. Ching didn't miss a beat. And you must be the guy giving Raina a hard time. Before I could even get a word in, Ching Yang planted himself in front of me, hands on his hips like a guard dog. He looped an arm around my shoulder, leaned close to my ear and whispered with an impish grin. Something going on here, Raina. Come on. Spill. Jason stepped forward and yanked Ching Yang away from me. Make him leave. I need to talk to you alone. Ching Yang put on a show, sighing dramatically. Oh, I get it. A handsome man like me is too much for your ego to handle. He winked at me, still playful. Fine, fine. I'm leaving. I waved him off with a half-hearted smile. Finally, peace again. Bookmark. Raina, I know you still mind what happened back then, Jason said. But I looked into it. This time I know the truth. It was Joanne, wasn't it? He looked stunned when I didn't even flinch. Of course I knew, I said with a calm smile. There's no such thing as coincidences that convenient. Jason, ask yourself honestly, did you really not know? Or did you just not want to know? If you weren't avoiding the truth, Then why did it take you 2 years in this situation to suddenly get to the bottom of it? Jason didn't argue. He opened his mouth, but all that came out were hurried words. I've already called off the engagement. From now on, there won't be anyone else between us. No more misunderstandings. I shook my head. Jason, don't try to guilt me into this. You didn't end things with Joanne because of me. You ended it because she betrayed your company, because she no longer deserved you, because your relationship had run its course, but not because of me. Maybe my words were too sharp because Jason's face turned red, then pale, then red again. Raina, I admit I messed up, but I'm willing to change. You said you don't want to leave here. Then I'll come to you. I'll open a branch office here. Move the business. Just say you'll wait for me. He grabbed my hand in desperation. I won't, I said quietly but firmly. Jason, don't you get it? I'm done waiting. Following behind you was too exhausting. Standing still while you caught up was too lonely. I won't, I said. I tilted my head and raised my hand to shield my eyes from the sun, just like I used to when I was young. Squinting up at Jason, I asked, Do you know what my name means? He didn't answer. You don't know, do you? I smiled softly. Raina is just a little flower. I don't have any lofty ambitions. I just want to be a small flower that grows toward the sun. I'm not a towering tree, and I don't want to depend on one either. So let's call it what it is, Jason. This is the end. As for your idea about opening a branch office here, don't be silly. You know better than I do that it's not realistic. You'd be giving up your connections, your resources, the very foundation of your company. The more I said, the darker his expression became. He looked like he was on the verge of tears. I can start over from scratch, he said. I don't care about any of that. I just want you. But I still shook my head. A sunrise gives me hope, a sunset gives me peace. My heart has something to long for, and my life is full but never overwhelming. That's the kind of life I want. And it's not the kind of life you can give me, Jason. Truthfully, I no longer blamed him. Feelings from our youth aren't about right or wrong. And aside from heartbreak, I had gained so much more. Jason left. This time I walked him to the gate. Just before he went, I gave him a tiny pot of succulents planted in the flower pot we once made together. The flower I hadn't managed to give him when we first met. I gave it to him now. Someday I know I'll meet someone who will cherish this little flower of mine. But that person won't be Jason. He was my first love. And this time it really was goodbye. Ching was waiting outside the courtyard when we came out. As Jason passed him, he didn't stop. Ching rushed in, practically dragging me by the arm. Who was that? Who was that? An ex? I sighed. Yeah. That's the ex-fiancé of the girl you followed on Weibo last time. Ching Yang's jaw practically hit the floor. Then he snapped back up with a thumbs up. Legendary. My girl's in her stand-in literature era. Savage. Love it. What can I say? Ching Yang always had sharp eyes. He glanced back in the direction Jason had gone and added, but seriously, he looked miserable when he left. Totally crushed. Did you break another heart, you heartless assassin? I flicked his forehead with a snap. He talked too much. He's got a brilliant mind and a broken heart. Hell live, Ching Yang said with a grin. Still got 6 more working parts. After that, Jason never came looking for me again. But he did keep sending me messages. He told me he was taking good care of the little succulent I gave him. He said he was doing his best to run the company well. He said he would regularly visit Auntie, Mom, and the kids at the orphanage. He said he would always wait for me. I never replied. Of course, during holidays or when I mass texted promotional messages for the guest house, I didn't bother filtering him out. I figured if Raina ever meets her true match, maybe I'll send him a wedding invitation. Anyway, enough of that. Ching Yang's already nagging me for gossip again. I've got the story. Do you have the wine? Buy me a drink tonight and I'll tell you everything. The end.